Well, today the families received a response by the British Secretary of State to their proposal for an independent panel. She declined that proposal. This was a very reasonable, a very measured proposal, and the families are outraged that she's refused it. This campaign will go on despite that decision, despite their outrage. These families aren't going away, and this campaign will go on long after Teresa Villiers has left office. So the campaign today has been re-energised despite the bad news, and we will keep the momentum going and we continue the fight for justice.
Well, I'd just like to say to Teresa Villiers, in her opinion, she feels it's not in the interest of the public to give our loved ones a truth. What about us? What about the bereaved? We're the ones here sitting with the pain and the hurt, and families have been destroyed. I'm telling you now, Teresa Villiers, there's your letter, and this is what the Ballymurphy families think of it. I'm just got it, devastated. I really am devastated. I just couldn't believe it. The letter was that thick, I thought she was going to draw it out, but on the second line to say no. And who does Teresa Villiers think she is? In her opinion, it's not in the public interest. When I tore that letter up, I just felt the whole anger and the frustration that here we go again, the British government is taking it on themselves to hide their secrets, hide their dirty washing. But at the end of the day, what about us? What about us? Our loved ones were murdered. Do we not matter? Is it not in our interest that the truth be told? It just begs on. I just don't understand where they're coming from. David Cameron's sitting over there. He's made her a scapegoat. He told her to make the decision. She couldn't even come herself. She sent some boyo who handed a letter over at the door, wouldn't even come in and introduce himself. What did he think we were going to do? At the end of the day, they're running scared. But I'm telling you, David Cameron, we're coming to 10 Downing Street. See, if you won't meet us, you will hear us, because we will be outside and we will be screaming. So if you can't hear us, we'll make sure everybody else does, because at the end of the day, our loved ones were innocent and we're entitled to the truth, and we will get it. And as I told Teresa Villiers last week, see, until the day I die, I will fight this and I will get the truth. And if I don't get it, my children will fight for me. So at the end of the day, Teresa, your letter is just a waste of space, a waste of time. You should have saved yourself the letter. Why didn't you come in person and face the families? Because you know it was wrong. You knew that letter was wrong. You should never have said no. We made it so easy for you. The cost was made easy. The people we picked, we were so generous, it was unbelievable. And yet you still said no. But know what it is, Teresa? We'll still be here when you're gone. And David Cameron will be gone. But I'm telling you now, we will fight and we will get our investigation and we will get the truth out there. You just watch this space.
My father deserves the truth. He was shot 14 times. He was badly beat. The only way, I was 23 at the time, and the only way I could recognise his body when I went to identify him was his wee dark curly hair. My father was branded a gunman. My father was wearing a suit and a shirt. He was paralysed down the left side of his face, and as I kept weeping all the time, he was no gunman. He was never involved in anything in his life. So I am telling Teresa Villiers and David Cameron, I demand to know the truth. Is it because it's the state that murdered my daddy? If the cameras of the world had been there, maybe we would have got the truth too. I am really hurt and really, really angry at Teresa Villiers. And David Cameron, we're coming to Downing Street, and that is a promise.
It was a disgraceful decision and an outrage to our families. But once again, this hasn't happened to us once. This has happened to us for 42, nearly 43 years from the British government. Teresa Villiers virtually have said today was, we can murder your family members. We can kill them, bury them, get on with it. But see if she thinks that, she's another thing coming. Because our families will never give up till we get justice for our loved ones. My brother was 19. He was a teenage father. Had a wee girl of 18 months, and they were expecting their second child, who'd never seen the two daughters. This isn't only for me and my brothers in this way, this is for those two kids. And he's 4 grandchildren at the minute. And this is for them, this is the legacy we have. because we want to get it and get the truth out there before they grow up. We don't want them going through that. I went through that all my life. Our family had to move house over it. We lived in a unionist area, and because of the press statement put out by the British Army, we had to move house. The neighbours stopped talking to us, and our family had to move out of Strongmullis Road. And at the time it was terrible. But this was all part of the British government done this to us then. Now, that was 42 years ago. Now they're kicking us in the teeth. They're kicking our family in the teeth again, once again. But as I said, the trees of failures, we will never go away. She will not be here, and David Cameron will not be here. But the families of Bollymurphy families will always be here. We'll always be here till the day that we get truth and justice for our loved ones, and the truth will out.
I'm angry. I'm angry at trees of failures. I'm angry at the British government. They're saying it's not in the public interest. The only interest that the British government are interested in is that of the British Army. They're afraid of the truth, and that is why they've refused us this investigation. We're not afraid of the truth. We want the truth to come out. So the families of Ballymurphy, we're angry, but it'll not stop us, and we'll keep going, and we will get there. Our kids will take it up after us. But until we get the truth, we will prove our loved ones were innocent. They were murdered by British soldiers in the streets of Ballymurphy.
Do you believe the Irish government have a role to play in this?
Absolutely. And I think that the NUK needs to put more pressure on David Cameron. The Irish government has already backed us. They've offered their support in any which way they can give us. So it's up to the Irish government now. Irish citizens was murdered in the streets of Ballymurphy, and I think it's up to the Irish government to put pressure on the British as the people who committed these crimes of murder.
Well, first of all, I'm very disappointed for the families. The families received this letter this morning from Teresa Villers. It's an absolute disgrace. It says that she's not going to set up the independent panel. The NIO sent out word last night to the families to come together this morning. There was an expectation among the families that they were going to get the news that they wanted, that an independent panel was going to be established. Instead, they were given a kick in the teeth with this letter, and Villers has refused. Most of the families didn't sleep last night in the expectation of good news this morning, and now the anger is palpable. The families, they're disappointed, they're angry, they're furious with Villers, and they're furious with David Cameron. And when you think that Teresa Villers said it's in the public interest that no independent panel is established, in whose interest in it is it? The only interest that can be served by refusing to set up this independent panel is the interest of those British soldiers who killed the Ballymurphy victims.
What do you think this says about the British government's real intent vis-a-vis the Haas talks?
Well, I think it confirms what Teresa Villers said the other day, that the focus should be taken off the state killers. And this is obviously part of that process where she wants to give immunity and impunity to those from the state who were involved in killing citizens in this country. You've heard the families at the press conference this morning, you've heard the anger, but you've also heard the determination that they aren't going away. Whatever about the result they got today, their campaign will continue. In fact, I think it will gather pace. They've been to Washington, they've been to the European Parliament, they've lobbied other MPs in Westminster, they've got the support from the Taoiseach and the Connolly. This campaign is going to continue on, and the truth will out eventually.